lenses will be comfortable for the patient, and in case if that does not help, if the vision is not improving, then you can go for rigid gas permeable lenses. Earlier only RGPs, regular RGPs were present. Now we have different rose scale lenses and these scleral lenses which have two different curvatures. You see there is a peripheral curve and the central curve. So these ones are helpful in covering the astigmatic part of the keratoconus. And if it's an advanced stage, then corneal transplantation, either lamellar is the best, and then if there's scarring, full thickness scarring, you can't do laminar, then you'll need a full thickness graft. Collagen cross-linking, for the last about 10 years, this person, Theo Saylor from Switzerland, has developed this technique, and what they noticed was, if you irradiate the cornea with UV radiation after enhancing it with or activating it with riboflavin, it tends to stiffen the cornea. So the further progression of this ectasia is stopped. It's quite popular, and especially young people where there's a frequent change, it stops the keratoconic progression. I'll discuss more about collagen cross-linking. Intrastromal corneal rings is you place a ring in the stroma, in the periphery, so that the central area is flattened. It's just like a tire where you're applying, so that the central area is flattened. It will decrease the corneal power, and second thing is it will also help in placing the contact lenses better. The patient will become more contact lens tolerant. Next slide, please. So this we've already discussed. This is the Boston scleral lens. This is a standard RGP which has multiple curves. This Boston scleral lens. Next slide, please. This is on the patient. Because it's a peripheral curve, there is some air bubbles which are trapped beneath the lens. Next slide. This is ectatic corneal disorders is the commonest use of Boston scleral lens. This data is from Elvira Sada Institute. In our state, that's the only place where they are giving Boston scleral lenses because they're expensive and they are patented, so nobody else can sell them. Only those specific outlets can sell them. Next slide. Collagen cross-linking. It's a simple procedure, but it's a boring procedure. For 1.5 hours, you need to sit with the patient, putting drops or just keeping the light. So this is quite popular, and it's a reasonably affordable procedure. And because young people are involved, it's good to avoid future keratoplasties. This is a good technique. The advantage is it enhances corneal rigidity. It increases the covalent bonds between corneal lamellae and makes them more stiffer. And then there is a UVA activated riboflavin which induces covalent bonds between collagen fibrils. The indications are the cornea has to be clear. If there's a scarred cornea, of course it doesn't help because you're not increasing the visual in this one. There has to be documented progression either in refraction or on video keratography, that is topography, and the cornea should be more than 400 microns. This is because the UV rays penetrate up to 300 microns. So if you do in corneas less than 300 microns, the endothelium also gets irradiated and the cornea becomes opaque. So clearly you should follow these guidelines: documented progression more than 400 microns and clear central corneas. Riboflavin of this strength is put on the eye for 5 to 20 minutes, and then UV light is placed at 1 centimeter. They are standard, there are some foreign makes, and Apasom is also making that, which costs about 5 lakh rupees. So we have, as a group practice, with the refractive surgery, we also have this machine so that there are 15 doctors in the group, and we use this by rotation, and which turns out to be quite cheap. Next slide, please. Scientifically, what the papers say, the literature says is collagen cross-linking flattens up to 2 diopters according to this study and improves line 3.6 lines in this particular study. False progression, not in all, in about 90%, 10% still develop ectasia later on. And with intacts, it has an increased effect. And nowadays, if it's a formal frustic keratoconus, some people are doing both collagen cross-linking and also doing PRK also at the same time so that you are improving the astigmatism. Next slide. So this is the procedure. You take off the epithelium to increase the penetration, put paracaine or alcohol, paracaine for 5 minutes or alcohol for 20 seconds on the cornea, and then scrape it off with a Bart Parker blade or a spatula, and then keep putting riboflavin drops every 5 minutes for about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, and then you put a UV light, which is diode, which comes with a diode source, and then you focus exactly on the cornea and leave it for half an hour. So end of it, there is some scarring in anterior surface, then you treat it like PRK with steroids and antibiotics, chloromethylene and moxifloxacin for about 5 days, leave a bandage contact lens, and after 5 days remove the bandage contact lens so that the epithelium heals by then. And then use a tapering dose of steroids for a month, FML. Next slide. I had analyzed 1 year results. I've been doing it for the last 3-4 years. So the results of 1 year, which I had presented in the last year's meeting, we had 19 patients in that 1 year, it was 2 years back, which had a follow-up of 1 year. And most of them were youngsters, because this is the age when it's growing. And the vision results, in my cases, were that there was post-C3R, the vision dropped by 1 line, and the spherical and cylindrical increased by approximately 1 diopter. This is at the end of 1 year, but still there will be some remodeling, and the haze, corneal haze will be there initially, but over a period of few months it goes off. For us at slit lamp, it appears the haze is there, but for the patient it doesn't make a difference. Next slide. This is how in a couple of cases the central cornea looks after C3R because of that collagen cross-linking. Next slide. Intrastromal corneal rings are expensive because basically the equipment is expensive, and it's used for contact lens intolerant patients with central clear corneas and less than 53 diopters keratometry. A femtosecond is better to make that circular ring. There's a circular gap is created between the lamellae, and thin segments, curved segments are passed into that so that it stiffens the cornea. And it improves contact lens tolerance. Next slide. Coming to corneal transplantation, if there's an advanced case where there is significant ectasia or if there is scarring, then you have to do a corneal transplantation. Lamellar corneal transplantation, which is DALK, that is deep anterior lamellar keratoplasty, is the better one because there's you are retaining the endothelium, and that prevents endothelial rejections. And regular penetrating keratoplasty for scarred corneas. Next slide. That's the end of keratoconus management. So I'd like you to speak now. Any questions or comments?
Age, at what age you suggest?
Any age. In fact, I have done, as in the study, there was an 11-year-old child also. They're very comfortable because it's not